The rain hammered the window pane of the dimly lit room where Tashfeen sat, her fingers tapping nervously on the edge of the wooden table. Outside, the city of Karachi was drowning in storm clouds, its streets slick with rain and echoes of hurried footsteps. Inside, a tension gripped the air, thick enough to choke on. Tashfeen was no ordinary woman. Beneath her quiet demeanor and piercing green eyes lay a mind sharper than a razor's edge, and a past she tried desperately to bury. Just 3 months ago, she'd been an investigative journalist chasing leads on a massive drug cartel. But the closer she got, the darker her world became. Shabir entered the room like a shadow slipping through the door, tall, lean, and carrying secrets heavier than his frame suggested. His coat dripped rainwater onto the floorboards as he removed it carefully. He didn't smile. There was no warmth in the eyes that met hers. "Only urgency. Did they follow you?" Tashfeen asked softly, already knowing the answer. Shabir shook his head. "No, but they know you're asking questions." "I wouldn't have come if it wasn't important." Tashfeen's gaze dropped to a folder on the table. It was thick with documents, photos, and files she'd painstakingly gathered, everything tying the city's most revered businessman, Adil Khawaja, to the drug syndicate. But proving it was another story. "I found their network," she said, voice steady but laced with exhaustion. "But they're watching everything now. Phones, meetings, even movements." Shabir sat down opposite her, glancing at the photos of Adil shaking hands with police officers, smugglers, and politicians alike. "There's a mole in the police," Shabir whispered. "Someone who leaks information. I've been trying to identify him for months." Tashfeen's heart pounded. The police? That explained why every lead went cold, why her own calls were intercepted. Suddenly, there was a loud bang against the door. Both froze. "Get the files," Shabir hissed, pulling Tashfeen to her feet. Before she could react, the door burst open and 2 men in dark suits stormed in, guns drawn. "Police, hands where I can see them!" one shouted. Tashfeen's breath caught in her throat, but Shabir moved swiftly. From under the table, he pulled a small pistol and fired a single shot. The bullet cracked through the air, hitting the lamp and plunging the room into shadows. Chaos erupted. Shabir grabbed Tashfeen's hand and pulled her toward the back door. Water splashed as they bolted into the alley, the sound of pursuing footsteps echoing behind them. For 2 blocks, they ran without looking back, hearts hammering, lungs burning. Shabir finally stopped, pressing her against the cold brick wall, listening. "Someone's tailing us," he said, eyes darting through the darkness. "But we lost the others." Tashfeen clutched the folder tightly. "We can't go to the police. Not with a mole." Shabir nodded grimly. "We go to the one man who can guarantee protection, Inspector Asim, but only if he's clean." They moved cautiously to a rundown cafe, the kind frequented by those who preferred shadows over lights. Asim was there, a grizzled man with sharp eyes that missed nothing. After a tense briefing, Asim leaned back. "This is bigger than I thought. If Adil Khawaja is involved with the cartel and the police are compromised, we need hard evidence. We expose this, the whole city will quake." The trio devised a plan. Tashfeen would lure Adil to a fabricated meeting. Shabir and Asim would be waiting nearby to catch him red-handed. Over the next few days, Tashfeen played her part expertly, sending encrypted messages and fake leads. The night of the meeting arrived. In an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts, shadows danced under flickering lights. Adil, surrounded by his henchmen, appeared confident. But he didn't notice the hidden cameras or the undercover officers moving in. Suddenly, the lights went out. Chaos exploded in shouts and gunfire. Tashfeen's heart hammered. She ducked behind crates as bullets tore through the air. Shabir appeared beside her, gun drawn. "Stay down," he hissed. The shooting stopped as backup arrived, and men in police uniforms rounded up the criminals. Adil was cuffed, his smile gone, replaced by cold fury. Weeks later, Tashfeen's story hit the headlines, exposing corruption to a nation hungry for justice. Shabir stood by her side, his distant look softened by relief. The city began to heal, but Tashfeen knew one thing. Shadows never fully vanish. They just wait for the next light to fade.